There is a shark at the Shark Reef Marine Reserve in Fiji named Chunky. Chunky is an adult female bull shark, around 3 meters long, has been visiting the same reef for years. And Chunky has a best friend. Her friend is a subadult female named Lady Lazarus, smaller, younger, less experienced in the social structure of the reef. When Chunky and Lady Lazarus are near each other, they don't just happen to be in the same water. They swim side by side in perfect synchronized movement, one in front, one directly behind, matching pace, matching direction. Scientists call this parallel swimming and lead-follow behavior. And for 6 years, they documented it happening repeatedly between the same individual sharks, in the same combinations. This is not a coincidence. This is friendship, and it changes everything we thought we knew about bull sharks. Because the bull shark has a reputation, it is consistently listed as one of the 3 shark species most responsible for unprovoked attacks on humans, alongside great whites and tiger sharks. It is uniquely dangerous because it is one of the few sharks that can survive in both salt and fresh water. It has been found in rivers thousands of miles from the ocean. It is territorial, aggressive, and unpredictable, and according to 6 years of scientific data, it has a social life. Here is what the researchers actually found. The study was conducted at the Shark Reef Marine Reserve in Fiji, one of the longest-running shark ecotourism dive sites in the world. A protected area where large numbers of sharks gather year-round. Over 6 years, a team from the University of Exeter, the University of Lancaster, Fiji Shark Lab, and Becker Adventure divers conducted 473 dives and accumulated 8,192 minutes of underwater observation on 184 individually identified bull sharks. They weren't just counting how many sharks were present. They were mapping relationships. An association in this study was defined as 2 sharks remaining within 1 body length of each other. A social interaction required more parallel swimming, lead-follow behavior, or one shark turning back toward another. The result: bull sharks do not interact at random. They display what the scientists call active social preferences. They choose who they spend time with. And they avoid certain individuals on purpose. Pause on that second part. They avoid certain individuals on purpose. That means these sharks are not just seeking out friends. They are also making the deliberate decision to not be around specific other sharks. That is a level of social cognition that requires individual recognition, memory of past interactions, and the ability to act on that memory in real time. This is not how we talk about sharks. Have you ever had a mental image of what a shark's inner life looks like? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what you thought before you watched this. Let's go deeper into what the data actually shows. Adult sharks form the core of the social network. They were the most socially connected, most frequently forming bonds with individuals of similar size. Both male and female sharks preferred to socialize with females, but male sharks had more social connections overall than females. This makes biological sense. Male bull sharks are physically smaller than females. In a social network where you cannot overpower the largest individuals, being socially integrated offers protection. More connections means more allies. More allies means fewer aggressive confrontations with animals that could hurt you. The researchers made one more finding about age that completely reframes how we think about shark development. Subadult sharks rarely visited the reserve. When they did, they were more cautious, less socially connected. But the bolder subadults had established ties with specific adult sharks. Those older individuals appeared to act as what the scientists described as facilitators, pathways into the social network. In other words, young bull sharks have mentors. The older sharks, with years of experience navigating the reef, were not just tolerating the presence of younger animals, they were including them, teaching them, potentially, through proximity, modeling behavior. This is exactly how social learning works in primates, in elephants, in dolphins. We just assumed it wasn't happening in sharks. We were wrong. And the older sharks, the advanced adults, were actually the least socially active, because they no longer needed the network in the same way. They had the experience. They had the size. They had the skill set. The social investment was most valuable earlier in life, when the stakes of getting it wrong were highest. That pattern is almost identical to human social behavior across a lifetime. If this video made you see sharks differently in the last few minutes, share it with one person who still thinks sharks are mindless killers. I'll be in the comments all day. Now let's talk about what this means beyond one reef in Fiji. The study's lead researcher, Natasha Morosi, made a specific statement that stayed with me. She said that the shark equivalent of human social experience was happening in the water, from casual acquaintances to best friends, and from people they like to people they actively avoid. A 3-meter predator with a reputation for unpredictability is navigating a social landscape with the same basic logic as a human being choosing who to sit with at lunch. The implications for conservation are significant. If bull sharks have stable social bonds, if certain individuals anchor the social network, transmit information about food sources, facilitate learning for younger animals, then removing those individuals disrupts more than one shark. It potentially destabilizes the entire social architecture of the population. Conservation policy that treats bull sharks as isolated units, rather than members of a connected social system, may be missing something fundamental. The Fiji Shark Lab is currently working with Fiji's Ministry of Fisheries to use these findings in conservation planning. One study of 184 sharks over 6 years is already changing how a government manages an entire ocean. And somewhere in that reef in Fiji, Chunky and Lady Lazarus are still swimming in perfect parallel, side by side, in water that goes teal in the shadows and orange where the light hits. This is CreatureCosmos. The ocean still has more to show us. If you want the next shark intelligence deep dive, the moment it drops, subscribe and hit the bell. The next episode on what else scientists got wrong about shark behavior is coming.